Number 14, Gregorios Chatsopoulos. Number 3, James Vandehei. Number 4, John Heinz. Number 8, Logan Sturrin. Number 7, Thomas Woodings. And number 17, Torin Akins. The coaches are Martin Osores, Ahmed Mohammed, Wadi Benanini, and Raghuram Vijaya, and the head coach of the Alexandria Reds, Jim Hogan.
The Reds would like to thank our ASA club partners, the City of Alexandria, Alex Renew, Eisenhower Partnership, PI Training, Lost Boys Cider, Kenya Knight State Farm, and Ortho Virginia for their generous support of Alexandria Soccer Association, and we'd like to thank Apelli Sports for the official outfitter of ASA. Let's get you the starting lineups, which are presented by Ortho Virginia. Stronger starts here. Let's take a look at the lineups. First for the visiting Ristozzi FC, Liam Keeler is in goal. Kenneth Clapp wears number 3. Alfonso Gilliard Soriano wears number 4. Ethan Bowman Ansah is number 5. Taichi Nogami is number 6. Peter Gonsalves is number 7, followed by Yosuke Ono wearing number 8. Donning number 9, Toga Katsuyama. Toshi Davis is number 10. 11 is Joshua Petty. And Justin Crow wears number 13. Let's take a look at the Alexandria Reds in the starting lineup set by head coach Jim Hogan. Dominic Dominguez is in the goal. James Vandehei wears number 3. Josh Heinz dons number 4. Number 6 is Christian Rodriguez, followed by Thomas Woodings wearing number 7. Then Logan Storen is wearing number 8. Papa Torre wears number 9. Abdul Kamara 10. And Gregorios is number 14. Number 17 is Torin Akins. And number 21 is Cesar Rubio Amanya. Those are the starting lineups presented by Ortho Virginia. Ortho Virginia Stronger starts here. Final home match of the regular season. Both these teams looking pretty good as far as the table goes. Ristozzi 1 spot ahead of Alexandria on the table. They've also played one more match than the Reds so far, as Nick Papadis joins the broadcast to talk about what's at stake here for these two squads.
Well, this is really the battle for who gets to host a playoff match potentially. There's a couple games left in the season. This one plus one more for the Reds against Alexandria United, bottom of the table side. So this really could have huge implications for both sides, as they will want to host a home playoff game leading into that first round.
Of course, the Alexandria Reds are wearing the black jerseys here today. Wearing the red is Ristozzi FC. Flip that. And that would make sense, right? Yeah. The Alexandria Reds wearing the red and Ristozzi wearing the black. There we go. Nice start here today at the Limerick Field on the complex at Alex Renew.
And the Reds going to have to deal with some changes, missing a couple of their players that they've had for the majority, if not all of the season. A couple of defenders that they were used to having. Conrad Brady, the captain, has now returned for his sophomore year at Penn State, so having to make adjustments into the back line.
Going up to lovely University Park there in Pennsylvania, the Keystone State.
Also missing Moad Eza here, starting left back for the majority of the season. He will be back for the remainder of the season, just missing tonight's match. You know, we've talked about it all season long, but the trials and tribulations of roster management in this league, because you got players just coming in and going out for vacations, for college stuff, all sorts of travel that they have to do.
How much of that is discussed with the coaching staff and the people putting together the roster at the onset of the season of, all right, you're going to go on vacation, that's cool, take it on this week because we have these guys going on this week. Is there any of that discussion? Because what if you end up having half your team on vacation for a match if that discussion wasn't had?
Well, you know, the main thing is that's why roster management is so important. You have to build your rosters to withstand that. And you know, the league minimum roster, not minimum, but most teams roster about 30 players. The ones that tend to show some success throughout the season might be rostering more in the 32 to 35 range. So there is some of that where you're trying to build a big enough roster that you can withstand it and you can manage those numbers. And you also have versatile guys. You've got guys like Chatsopoulos on the right this evening. He's played center back for the Reds in all of his appearances except one where he played in midfield tonight, featuring at right back.
As Chatsopoulos gets it in, and talk about his importance to this team, and I've seen him even grow his minutes as this season has progressed.
Well, you know, the big thing is he came from a D2 up in North Carolina, or down in North Carolina, I should say. And he's kind of grown into the system, into the game, figuring out, you know, how the Reds play. And it's tough to come into a roster when you've got so many returning guys as the Reds do to make an immediate impact. And you know, he started kind of a squad player, and he's grown into that role throughout the course of the season. And what he really brings is an ability to play with the ball at his feet. You know, so many center backs like to play the physical game, find the 6-yard pass, 8-yard pass to a midfielder in front of you and let them do the hard work. Chatsopoulos is really comfortable on the ball, that European style of football, trying to play out of the back.
Bowman Ansa moving it toward the middle of the field, and Taichi Nogami has it swatted away by Papatore. Sweltering hot afternoon here in Alexandria. Chatsopoulos feeding ahead.
Continues his run on, and you know, that's something we haven't seen from him playing center back. He hadn't really carried the ball forward much, but confident to do so today as an outside back.
Toshi Davis working with it.
AU midfielder played for the Annapolis Blues last season in their near championship bid as they lost in the final to Virginia Dream. Davis now onto a new squad here with Ristozzi, looking to make his impact and show what he can do in midfield.
Used to a very large crowd at his games if he played for Annapolis.
And he'll be 4.5. He'll be looking to play in front of quieter crowds here without Annapolis in the league, though several supporters braving the heat today.
Well, and they're quite lucky with where the glorious stands are here at Limerick Field. Most of them are in the shade. Not that that's really helping all too much, but it does help.
That would have helped more about 2 hours ago before all the humidity set in from that pop-up rainstorm that came through the Alexandria area here. And
earlier today, it was listed at 97 degrees with the feels like at 103. Supposedly, it is an 83 and feels like 91, which I don't subscribe to that at all, even close.
Yeah, you know, that's...
I mean, we're standing here drenched or sitting drenched. I can only imagine the players.
It's easy for the meteorologists in their studios to say that one, but we get to be the soccer meteorologists today and tell you that it is a lot hotter than that.
I'd love to be a meteorologist. You can be wrong all the time and make 6-7 figures. It's a great job. Nil-nil here at Limerick Field in Alexandria, Virginia.
It's kind of that first feeling out phase as both teams playing each other for the first time. Ristozzi new to the league this year. Young staff, young coaching staff as well. Trying to work through and see how they can get on here in a big test against the Reds away.
Little miscommunication there as the ball comes our way. As we take a look at the table entering play today, Virginia Dream FC sits atop. 8 matches played, grabbed 22 points. Ristozzi FC second, 7 matches in with 15 points. And then the Reds are third on the table with 8 matches and 16 points.
That's
Gonzalo hurting a little bit for Ristozzi.
He's asking for something there, and there's really nothing to that. I mean, if he wore proper size shin pads, he might not have gotten clipped there. Just a word from the referee, though. A little calming down of things here in the first 10 minutes. He doesn't, he's an experienced referee. He doesn't want to come in, and he doesn't have to come in aggressive so early on. He can have a word, see if he can calm the temperature of the game. That's what people often forget. The main role of a referee is conflict resolution and management, not conflict creation, and well officiated there by the center referee.
Fans, join the Eisenhower Partnership for free family-friendly movie nights here at Limerick Field. Join us Saturday, July 19th for a movie and treats from local vendors. Doors open 6 p.m. More info can be found on the Eisenhower Partnership website and Instagram. Again, that's July 19th. Hopefully it won't be quite as hot and humid out here at Limerick Field. Sitting atop about 85 million gallons of partially treated water. Four 4.5 million gallon tanks are beneath this field as Crow works it back to the Bowman-Ansa. That's going to go high.
Reds trying to build through Vandehei now, and with Ristozzi sitting in a bit of a mid-block, they're gonna see what the Reds can do in possession. You know, with how good Logan Staren's been this season, it's an interesting decision to try to sit in and let the Reds find the right pass into midfield. They've got active players. They've got really high-quality midfielders that can move the ball so well, as Staren now gets on the ball and gets his head up.
Reason you think for the switch as Chetsopoulos moves back?
I think it's a lot of it has to do with the heat. You want to press, but you got to be smart when it's this hot out. You can't go pressing for 90 minutes. As a beautiful piece of skill there from Woodings.
Over to grab it, Gilliard Soriano.
And Ristozzi, a little bit of an interesting story. I'm surprised to have not seen a team pop up in the Baltimore area before this. There's so many players that come out of that area, go play at colleges all over the region, and they're kind of the first ones to do it here in the NPSL.
And another whistle.
Silly tackle from Torrin Akins there. He was very late. Just needed to move his feet, stay in front, instead going for the glory to win the ball.
Yeah, Baltimore, pretty good soccer market. How do they do attendance-wise, Ristozzi?
It's with it being their first season and the Reds haven't played up there, I couldn't speak to those numbers. The other thing is so many teams in the NPSL, their focus is on accessibility, so they're keeping their games open, not necessarily ticking attendance at the gate, as do some of the teams in the league and in other local leagues.
And, of course, also interest can be gauged via the social media options and watching and listening to broadcasts. 0-0 underway here from Alexandria between the Alexandria Reds and Ristozzi FC.
Will be well offside. Ristozzi there.
Jetsopoulos.
We've seen him play a few different positions, and he actually looks the most comfortable. Of all the matches he's played, he looks the most comfortable here on the right. You have to ask if the Reds wish they would have figured that one out a little bit earlier. Would he have gotten more minutes at outside back? And when you factor in the players that they had with Brady and Eza here, it's just such a stacked roster in the back that you don't really know.
One of the things where Jetsopoulos could have spoken up, or one of those things just based on him working in, and part of the idea of playing these extra matches during the summer is getting used to different things and growing one's game?
Well, it's a little of both, and the other challenge is he came into a team with a lot of high-quality players. I mean, you'll see tactically he's sitting deeper than Brady did. He's a little less attack-minded than the true natural outside back, as they look to sit a little bit deeper.
Akins working it toward Torrey.
It's something in his recruitment process, which, I was directly involved with the first couple calls with Jetsopoulos, and it's something he had expressed from the first moment. I can play outside back, I can play center back. I feel most comfortable right center back, but I want to play. And that's the kind of mentality that makes a huge difference.
Racing ahead here, and a nice stop from Liam Keeler, as Thomas Woodings didn't quite have the right angle on it. Don't you want a player like that on your roster that's willing to play the different positions, wants to speak up, will do so as far as where he feels most comfortable, but I'm willing to do A, B, and C?
Yeah, and there's a balance, because you also don't want the guy come and say, I can play anywhere, I can do anything you need me to do, because the reality is you can't, and players have specialties and qualities that make them the right player in the right position.
Want to remind you, if you're coming out to a home game, stop by Lost Boys Cider for a locally crafted experience before or after the games. Also can be before and after the games. And now that this could be the final match, you can do it outside the season. We effort you to do so.
They currently are serving some nice slushy options, some summer beverages over at Lost Boy.
Perhaps if they're listening, they could bring some over that we could have here and discuss as the broadcast carries on. It's definitely a sweltering evening, and one could use such slushies. Crow working forward. Nice job there of Vandehei getting in.
Yeah, it was a tough position to play that ball through in that tight space. And Vandehei able to slide across and clean it up quite easily.
So now the socks are coming off, my broadcast partner.
Well, setting up in that rainstorm was not pleasant, and the only thing
nice save there from Dominguez.
The only thing worse than a slow start for the Reds is wet socks.
And you've really gotten both. So that's not equating to a real hot evening. Actually, it is. I didn't even try that. The Reds and Ristozzi 0-0.
This is going to be one of those games that's pretty interesting because it could go either way, and both teams have had their chances. That the first real shot on target from either side.
There's Dominguez.
Ooh, just getting enough on that. The center back there. If he had miscued that, it was going to be Kamara in easily.
Crow. Katsuma. Feeding toward Gonzalo. Dancing with it. And that's going to get in. So Ristozzi nails the first goal as they take the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and it was good ball movement from Ristozzi there to get the Reds on the interchange. Akins comes a little bit high. They catch him out of place, slide it through the A-gap, and just get players moving out of position. That end-line cross is always one of the most dangerous things that you'll see.
Joshua Petty with the goal there, putting Ristozzi up 1-0.
It's one of those finishes that if he hadn't finished that, they'd have been pretty fired up at the opportunity that they got either way.
Ristozzi FC goal scored in the 18th minute by number 11 Joshua Petty. Goal assisted by number 7 Peter Gonzalo.
I mean, proper tap in doesn't get much easier than that if you're Petty.
Gonzalo did a good job of positioning that one nicely for Petty.
Yeah, and again, it starts effectively at midfield with just some miscommunication. But now the Reds getting their own chance at the other end. It just shows that they're not ready to rest, ready to take any breaks here.
Torrey was looking for Kamara, but unable to quite angle up on that one.
You have to ask if the Reds are going to change the tactics a bit. Ristozzi seems pretty comfortable on the ball. Both teams just kind of sitting in a mid-block at the moment.
Here's Crow.
You know, having seen this team now in the opening 20 minutes or so, this is probably the best footballing team, the best soccer team outside of the Reds here in the NPSL. Just the way they move the ball, they try to get players out of position. It's not just pace, power, and athleticism like we've seen with some of the other teams that we've seen here at Limerick Field this year.
So they get the complete game.
Yeah, they're moving really well, and they're moving off the ball well. You can tell that these guys have played together. They're structured. There's some movement and some good ideas happening.
Bowman Ansa.
Rubio Maya needs to be a little careful there. Failure to respect the distance could be called, as he didn't get 10 or even close to 10 away. And that's one of the challenges of being a player at this age. They played for a long time. They know what is and isn't allowed, and rules change from year to year.
And you've got to be able to change along with it.
Yeah, the real challenge being the fact that they have the fact that rule has changed. It used to be that you were asked to be 10 yards away. Now is expected to be 10 yards away. First corner kick of the match now, and see if Ristozzi sets something up on the set piece. Keeper all the way at midfield, and we got players with the IQ of Papa Toure and Holden Woodings. Keeper better be careful. He might get caught off his line in transition.
I want to remind you, Ortho Virginia is a proud partner of Alexandria Soccer Association. Ortho Virginia orthopedic specialists can treat your bone, muscle, joint, and back pains and strains. Ortho Virginia is the largest orthopedic practice in Virginia. To schedule an appointment, visit orthovirginia.com. Orthovirginia.com. That one overshot. Still 1-0. Ristozzi has the lead over Alexandria. Goal coming in the 18th minute from Joshua Petty. Dominguez works it over.
Heinz now driving forward from the outside back roll. Oddly pressed, cued press there from Ristozzi. They were pressing on a pretty purposeful back pass, and if they're not careful, that transitional moment as they step high could create a gap in behind for the Reds to get in one of their speedy wingers in Kamara or Woodings. Talk about a player that's just worked for his minutes all season. It's been Cesar Rubio Amaya. He's done so well. Oh, that's...
As Crow tumbles down.
Jump and scream loud enough, you might just get a yellow given to the opposition there. Ball bounced up. Coach Jim Hogan trying to explain to the referee that if a player's standing there, somebody runs into him, it shouldn't be a foul just because they scream and carry on.
Caution has been issued to Alexandria's number 6,
but
Christian Rodriguez.
Christian Rodriguez gets the card.
Yeah, it's an unjust yellow there for Rodriguez. I don't know what he's supposed to do. He's positioned in the right spot. He goes to settle the ball and given a yellow for it. It's just really, really disappointing to see.
Here's Crow. Chatsopoulos gets in there.
And this is where the Reds need some settling moments. They need to get things settled, calm things down, and Dominguez will try to do that now. As Ristozzi looking for a non-existent handball, said the referee. And, you know, the thing for me is, as a coach, you see your players' body language, and none of the players even remotely signaled to the referee for a handball. So if they're not asking for that from 3 yards away, the coaching staff 60 yards away probably doesn't have a better angle than the referee and the players.
Here's Woodings, now Chatsopoulos. Bowman Ansa off his head, pushing it forward toward Katsuma.
Van de Heyck caught in a tenuous position there, didn't know whether to step or to drop, and that's where you want to find the opposing defender if you're a forward, in kind of that do I stay or do I go moment. Approaching the first half water break that fourth officials indicated will be taken at the 30th minute mark.
Akins firing ahead. Woodings being pushed away there by Bowman Ansa.
It's good, tough defending from the center back for Ristozzi in that position. You know, I have to say, as a coach and as a just person that's been in the game a long time, I really do respect the things that Ristozzi's doing, and you can tell that their coaching staff, regardless of their age, knows what they're trying to do. They know the style of play they're trying to play. They know how they want their players to do it, and they've got them executing it. And it's just really good to see the professionalism on the field from that. You know that's where, again, as they continue to coach, they might recognize some of those cues of what the players are giving them, but what a product they put on the field here so far.
That speaks to the growth of soccer that you mentioned, young coaches and what they've been able to do. Another Ristozzi player down.
See, that foul actually should have been on Ristozzi for obstruction. Should have been clear obstruction, but called against the Reds. Now the fifth one called against the Reds, despite Ristozzi having some very physical play here early on.
Nogami was the one that went down on that last play.
Well, and again, they've met bigger, stronger players from this Reds roster, and they can't handle it. Ooh, dangerous ball in from Heinz.
As Keeler is able to grab it.
Gillard Soriano has just been fantastic center back so far for Ristozzi. He's good in the air. He's a smart player. He's been impactful.
Helped them out to a 1-0 lead with the goal coming in the 18th minute from Joshua Petty, the only goal so far of this match. As we approach the 30-minute mark in a water break with the sweltering heat here in Alexandria, Virginia. Dominguez.
Gilliard Soriano plays at Harford Community College up north of Baltimore, way up right on the border.
Seems like maybe he should play up a level.
I mean, been really impressed with him. Actually, been impressed with both center backs. They're in sync. They're connected. They're making smart decisions, and the Reds are going to have to work to break them down. It's not going to be an easy one.
Akins, Chatsopoulos. Woodings knocked out. And that's going to bring us to a water break with the Reds up 1-0. Joshua Petty scoring in the 18th minute. We want to remind you the Reds would like to thank our ASA club partners, the City of Alexandria, Alex Renew, Eisenhower Partnership, PI Training, Lost Boys Cider, Kenya Knight State Farm, and Ortho Virginia for their generous support of Alexandria Soccer Association. And we'd like to thank Capelli Sports, an official outfitter of ASA. Also, Reds fans, support ASA's Access for All initiative by joining the Red and Blue Club. To make a donation, visit alexandria-soccer.org/donate. So that's a lot, but you can visit alexandria-soccer.org/donate. Your generosity supports free programming, scholarships, facility improvements, state-of-the-art equipment, and more. We also invite you to like the ASA Reds YouTube page for lots of scintillating content.
You can check out all the broadcasts for the home matches here for NPSL and WPSL. This is the last of the season, but we'll be back next season and possibly here in the playoffs, depending on how this one shakes out here in the next few minutes, next 60 or so minutes of play. You can also catch the Pitch podcast on YouTube.
Do you host said podcast?
I've been a guest on the podcast, but it is hosted by Communications and Marketing Director Katie Brooks.
Sounds like a must-view/listen. What do they get into? What's the point of the podcast? What's the reason to tune in and make it a part of a said ritual? Is it a weekly cast, a bi-weekly, tri-weekly, monthly?
There were 7 episodes in the first season.
Okay.
And the main thing, it's to let everybody know the goings on in ASA. It's such a big club. There's so many happenings from tots with the 2-year-olds to this program here.
2-year-olds.
2-year-olds, 2.5. Must be 2.5 years old to participate. But it goes from the club has so many programs, so many different things happening that it's very easy to not necessarily know what's going on, and it's just our effort to connect with the clubs and the families, with the families and the participants as a whole as they try to learn all things Alexandria soccer.
Now you coach, but you do not coach the 2.5-year-olds. I don't think the patience that you wield would really work too well with 2.5-year-olds.
I've done it before, and it, no matter what age you coach, there's certainly some similarities. But it's especially from the coaching standpoint, you need to be patient. You need to be trying to teach specific details, whether it's advanced tactical details or whether it's how to kick a ball.
I was going to say, as ASA has the 1-0 lead here over Ristozzi FC, or check that, Ristozzi has the 1-0 lead over Alexandria, that Josh Petty goal coming in the 18th minute.
If they were wearing the colors that you had them wearing in the first couple minutes of the match, Dan, you'd be spot on. But
not so.
The Reds donning,
the red.
Behold, the red.
As I said that, I kind of thought,
Chatsopoulos there late to make that decision. It was the right decision to try to step, just a little late in doing so, and he's already gotten a verbal warning from the referee, so he'll need to be cautious.
Davis works it over to Ono. It's going to be clear of the goal.
You know, if we were not professionals, there would be puns that could be made there. If he missed a shot, oh no.
Davis shadowing the Reds players. Now Woodings comes up on it. Works it over toward Torrey. Looked over toward Camara, but going to be picked off. Chatsopoulos.
Good interplay from the Reds. That pass, just a miscommunication there between Torrin Aiken, or between Papa Torre and Holden Woodings.
Here's Woodings. Aggressive play there between Woodings and Bowman Ansa.
Bowman Ansa has also done very well. Both center backs so calm, so composed, and Bowman Ansa has the tough job of having Woodings on his side of the pitch.
The head here toward Katsuma.
I think the Ristozzi staff wants to trade their coaching shirts for referee shirts with that reaction. The blue officials in front of us here. Clear offside call for the official on the far side, as the fourth now gets an earful. You know, I think that's the only time I'm on the referee side is when I'm in the broadcast booth. I think usually when I'm on the sideline, they are out to get me 24/7, but late hard challenge.
A little slow to get up there is Starin.
Slow to get up, but quick to play as he moves that one to Chatsopoulos to restart the attack for the Reds, as they will be trying to get something going here. Closing 7 minutes of the first half plus stoppage time.
Both players collapse.
Lovely turn from Torre. First to the ball, clipped underneath.
Clap.
Several Reds will be vying for this one in shooting range, about 26 yards out. Woodings and Torre both over this. Torre scored an absolutely lovely free kick for VCU earlier this season. He'll be the most likely to hit this one, I would think. Also the one having earned the foul.
As Torre nails it, just passed.
Not very far off, maybe 2 or 3 yards from where he would have liked it. Lifting it over the left corner, struck well, but just didn't quite get the measure of that ball.
Here's Katsuma. He's off to the races. Circling back is Davis. And there to grab it is Dominguez.
You know, Chatsopoulos is in a tough spot today, too, in that he was one of the camp counselors for 8 hours out in the hot sun. So you have to ask how his energy level will be into the second half. What a tackle that is from Torre.
Torre trying to get it past Keeler.
Rubio Amaya just absolutely fluffing his lines on that one. Needed to get a better touch. He hits that one off the post. That's got to be a goal for the Reds.
Unable to take advantage of the move there by Torre.
He's shocked by how much time he actually had on the ball. I think he was expecting somebody right behind him, and instead he's got acres of space right in front of the goal. Did have to open up his hip. He probably could have gone opposite foot there. He went with his right, tried to get his hip around it. Probably should have just stuck the left leg out and tapped it home.
There's Akins.
Ristozzi very fortunate to not have conceded there. Well, make sure you stop the clock and run on that. Or two. As long as the horn doesn't go. Shifty move in midfield there. Oh, could just hear that one hitting sweat.
Gonzalo. Well, that was Crow into the hands of Dominguez.
Catching practice for Dominguez.
Here's Woodings. Closing in quickly, Ristozzi. Back toward Woodings, off to the races. Ono down to seal him off.
Torre left Woodings a lot to do on that one.
Here's Akins. Van de High.
And Kamara has been a little quiet for the Reds. They've got to get him more involved if they're going to create some attacking opportunities. Everything's gone down Wooding's side. And you look at who they've got on the bench, and they're missing one Dylan Logan who could give that extra dimension.
Yeah, Kamara, we've really only talked about on one attack here this evening.
Yeah, he's just been quiet. He's kind of inverting, tucking in. And some of it's that Heinz likes to get high, so he has to fill that space in the half space on the far side of your screen. But he's got to make some runs. He's got to get into space. And the Reds need to connect passes like that. That's going to be a concern. If they can't connect the simple passes, they might put themselves into a dangerous spot. Story here, the first half was kind of open for the first 20, minus the transition moment goal. And that's another miscued pass.
From Joshua Petty, that goal coming in the 18th minute, the lone goal so far in this match. So between Crow and Woodings, they're going to say was out off the Reds.
It's been all Reds the past 15 minutes or so, an absolute gift for them to not score.
So they're going to add 2 minutes of stoppage.
2 minutes of stoppage time added to the end of the first half.
Sun falling here in Alexandria, Virginia. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 10 p.m. I don't think they've taken it off yet, but right now it doesn't look too bad as far as the clouds go. Here's Torre. Firing it across the field. Now here's Kamara.
He has the opportunity to erase everything we said with this ball right there. Not the one he would have been hoping for. Trying to get the Reds a corner here in the dying embers of the first half, but nicking off him last, you could hear that double touch, and it's one of those cues you look for. If you're a referee, sometimes it's the sight, sometimes it's the sound that'll tell you the story.
That's going to go off of Gonzalo.
Bit much there. The first 2 touches really high level. Last one wouldn't have been what he was hoping for.
That one goes off the glorious camera. Shook a little bit. Should say the camera stand, not the actual camera.
Well, we should get sandbags on that. Free kick in a dangerous position. This will be a service, likely to the back post, but 2 over it for Ristozzi.
Ono trying to navigate.
Well, that one will be well out of the field through the gap in the net. Take us to halftime with kind of an uneventful close there. You would have liked to see some heroics in the last moment or two, but
the Alexandria Reds,
both teams a bit lucky to get out of this one level.
Ristozzi has the 1-0 lead over the Alexandria Reds. Joshua Petty with that goal coming in the 18th minute. Halftime is here. Back with the second half after this. Back here at Limerick Field in Alexandria, Virginia, second half is underway as Ristozzi FC has the 1-0 lead on the Alexandria Reds. Joshua Petty hitting that goal in the 18th minute. A lone time pay dirt has been hit for either of these squads, which have a lot to play for here in these waning moments of the final home game regular season style for the Reds. A couple matches left for the season, but this one does mean a lot as far as the table goes and positioning.
Yeah, and this is kind of that last measuring stick for the Reds to see how they're going to stack up in postseason play. You know, you have to imagine they're going to go with rest a lot of these players as they play Alexandria Rough Diamonds. Late on, Rough Diamonds having a rough season so far.
Kind of a season to forget, really, for the Rough Diamonds.
The second one of those in a row. Finished bottom of the table last year.
Through 8 matches, goal differential of -52.
That's
the Rough Diamonds having a rough campaign.
It's a bit of an understatement. They did draw Virginia Dream twice. They had to play them 2 times, which isn't something most teams would want to do. The Reds, however, taking points off Virginia Dream, they'd probably be pretty happy to do so. I think if the Reds could do it again, they probably would have liked the 3 points, as they were the better side for the duration of that Virginia Dream match, minus a late slip-up with ASA homegrown academy product Nick Beal scoring the game winner for Dream.
So you mentioned the next match is coming up against the Rough Riders, and that's one of the things that's going to be a situation whereby you can't take that match lightly, even though you might want to.
Well, that's again the depth of this Reds team. They've got so many guys that can slot in there and play in that situation.
Making a move here, as that was Petty again who was in on that.
One too many moves in the end. Aiken's able to clean that one up and cleared off of Ristozzi for a goal kick. Yeah, you look at, there's just so many players for the Reds that they've got in their group. So many young academy players that will likely get a run out versus Rough Diamonds. And that's, again, the player development aspect that we've talked about all season. Seeing those academy players that have come through the ranks from U9 to U10 all the way here to the senior level, getting to go play in an NPSL match and represent their childhood club.
How many of these players have come from U3, have started out at the age of 2.5, and have stuck around?
You know, I almost testing my goalkeeping skills there. It's a case of those records a little harder to track than when they start in at U9. But Reds forward Dylan Logan played his U9 all the way up soccer with Alexandria Soccer Association. Another player, James Vandehei, homegrown talent here from the Alexandria area.
That's going to go wide. The Ristozzi coaching staff happy with the shot, though.
So many Alexandria connections in this squad. You've got Papa Torre played at Episcopal High School. You've got Dylan Logan. You've got James Vandehei. Just so many guys that grew up in this area coming back, getting to play at this Tier 1 amateur level in the NPSL, the only league designated Tier 1 amateur by USASA, the United States Amateur Soccer Association, for those of you who don't keep up with your soccer governing bodies.
Well, and some may not. Some may be casual fans, maybe grandparents or parents or significant others that are tuning in. So thank you for explaining, laying out the knowledge.
If you are tuning in and don't currently subscribe to the Reds on YouTube, please do so. We are oh so close to that 1,000 subscriber mark that
we hope to hit, and we hope you enjoy all these broadcasts and hit that subscribe button, as maybe you and I will do a little recap, Dan, of those games played away in the playoffs if we're not home here at Limerick Field.
Well, that would be a glorious time. Surely that would get some viewers and some subscribers. Premium content for sure. As here's Storen.
Clever move there from the Emory midfielder.
Heinz.
Kamara's so passive today. He's got to show a little more aggression. Look to get into opportunities forward.
You think the Heat's playing into that? You're saying you want to see him more aggressive, so you've seen opportunities that he hasn't taken. You think the Heat has played into that? Maybe the concentration level just not quite as impeccable as it usually is?
I think some of it's also just his comfort with the guys around him. He's playing with different players in front of him, and it's tough to adjust. You know, he's usually got players like he's got familiar with Torre, but Osi Onwudiwe not here tonight, along with Sidney Agre, the two players that played in front of him for the majority of the season.
Torre trying to find Kamara. Instead, it'll be Heinz. Now working back toward Van de High.
Absolute clinic in purposeful possession from the Reds. They're moving the ball. They're feeling out situations, trying to find the right moment to pass it in. Is that one just off the mark?
So it's Opoulos losing his footing.
Another Alexandria Academy product. Santino ink pen, goalkeeper here for the second half. Plays at UNC Greensboro. And just to see how much he's grown, he just finished his freshman year. You can tell he's been working tirelessly to get those minutes up as he goes back for his second campaign in North Carolina next year.
I love the last name, and if you're wondering what Nick just said, indeed he said ink pen. That is his last name, ink pen, I-N-K-P-E-N. As the Ristozzi coaching staff wants another call.
And, you know, that one, I think, warranted just a silly move from the forward to bump into the keeper, but he's certainly going to let him know he's there. And it's funny, those little mental moments sometimes make the difference in a match. As you can tell, the keeper visibly rattled now, throwing his hands up, looking for the call, wondering from his coaching staff why he didn't get it. And does that break his concentration just long enough for that one shot to squeak by? And we'll have to see.
1-0, Ristozzi with the lead. That goal coming back in minute number 18 from Joshua Petty. Checking into the contest is Jackson Lewis for Ristozzi. And grabbing a breather is Peter Gonslow, who we've seen have some quality minutes.
Fourth minute, leaving the match, number 7, Peter Gonzalo. Entering the match, number 16, Jackson Lewis.
Flag up for offside on the initial flick on, following the throw-in. I have to say, these two assistant referees from traveling here from West Virginia have been spot on with just about everything all match long, having an absolute clinic in how to properly officiate on the line as the assistant referee. What a move that is from Starin. Just the final pass not quite on. Starin now putting back pressure on as he knows the job's not done.
Nogami circling around. Davis.
Exact correct concerns.
Feeding ahead. And that's going to get in.
Well, and that's really
Jackson Lewis.
disappointing to see the missed call on one end from the referee crew. The center mid for Ristozzi kicks out at a player and is missed high up the field, and they go counter and score. Good finish, though. Credit to the finish, but poor there to miss that.
56th minute.
So Jackson Lewis coming onto the pitch and pretty much immediately making his presence felt, scoring in the 56th minute after Petty scored in the 18th minute, so Ristozzi up 2-0.
Well, coming on and making an immediate impact as well, just subbing in and immediately making a great run in behind.
Lights have come on here at Limerick Field, lovely Alexandria, Virginia. Humidity seems to have waned just a shade. Chatzopoulos, now here's Woodings.
They know I'm right. They saw it. They made a face.
Kamara.
Clever touch from Kamara to lay that one around the corner for Heinz. Now doing a little bit too much, though, with that back heel. Couple of changes for the Reds now as two midfielders coming off. It's going to be Rodriguez coming off for Dimitri Turner, veteran player, played his college soccer at JMU. Now a key piece of the Reds setup in both the UPSL and NPSL. And Anthony Chong, young midfielder, coming in to replace Papa Torre.
Anthony Chong and number 13, Dimitri Turner.
Fans come out to a home game, and yes, there may be another one as the regular season home slate is wrapping up here this evening. But in any event, we invite you to stop by Lost Boys Cider for locally crafted experience before or after the matches, or anytime, really. Anytime they're open. I think one of the Ristozzi coaches thought I was an official because I'm wearing a blue polo shirt.
Yeah, they keep looking over at us instead of the fourth at times, but wearing my lovely blue coach staff shirt for Alexandria Soccer Summer Camp. This week, the Palmeiras week. Palmeiras international staff here in Alexandria, Virginia from Brazil. So I've heard more than my fair share of Portuguese this week.
That's a long way to come in. So what are they working on? What are you working on this week?
So I'm working on the main pictures of camp, keeping it safe, keeping it fun, making sure it's a good experience for everyone. While on the other side of things, the Palmeiras staff teaching the Palmeiras way to the Alexandria Soccer Association youth campers.
How many do they bring in?
They've got 6 coaches here for about 80 players, so pretty good player-to-coach ratio as well, supported by the plethora of coaches and...
As that's going to be high and away from Toshi Davis.
Lots of coaches and counselors from Alexandria Soccer Association, both current players, former players coming back to coach.
So Cody Angelini is set to check in, but his coach, recognizing that he had a nice gold chain on and saying to take said chain off before he walks up to be checked in.
Good preventative action there to keep him from getting in any trouble with the referees. Oh, rough touch. Yeah, and Rubio Maya clearly offside and throwing his hands up, but good 1.5 feet, 2 feet offside. Can't complain too much.
Vance Ortho Virginia, a proud partner of Alexandria Soccer Association. Ortho Virginia, orthopedic specialists can treat your bone, muscle, joints, and back pains and strains. Ortho Virginia is the largest orthopedic practice in Virginia. To schedule an appointment, visit orthovirginia.com. Again, that's orthovirginia.com. And so Angelini now does check in. Coming off the pitch is Justin Crow, who especially in the first half we saw with some quality moments.
He was active. He was getting into good spaces, but you know, there's a lot of game ahead, a lot of season ahead.
And taking a hard hit down. Looks like that might be Wong.
And trainer Noah Alvarado having his check of Anthony Chong, just making sure he's good to go. No signs of concussion, and that's one that he was always fine there. But those shock you and they scare you a little bit when they come at you like that from about 8 yards away on a clearance.
So glad to see that he's fine.
Quick adjustment of the hair. I think that, you know, for some of these guys, that might be the biggest concern when they head the ball or get hit in the head, is that their hair doesn't look quite the way they would like it.
Well, he has a big head of hair, big bushy head of hair. Wants to make sure every piece is in the right spot, and as he runs up and down the pitch, it tracks with him in the right way. It's all about branding.
Torrin Akins has been very good here, but without his usual partner, Moody Yaga, this evening. What a reverse ball that is from Turner. And he continues his run. Ruben Almaya, just not quite the right service, but it will be the Reds' first corner of the day.
Dimitri Turner with a nice move there.
And Turner, we talked about, just gives a little something different. He's a different midfielder, and probably would have been the starting lineup coming straight from work. Got here a little late. Is that service well under hit by Woodings?
Woodings having to track back on it.
That was actually Chong's service under hit. Apparently, I cannot tell the difference between a 7 and a 5 from this far away. Might be time to see my optometrist.
Perhaps another sponsor that we can add to the broadcast. We have a nice ortho option. Plenty of optometrists and glasses places around.
I actually go to a nice local optometry place. I'll have to share that with sponsorship coordinator Emily. Oh, that bouncing ball is just not what you need there.
Circling around on it, Bowman Ansa.
And again, it's just Kamara just a touch off today. I don't know quite what has caused that, but he's going to be one of the players to come off now. Well, maybe not for that matter.
Azaria the Wardros is coming in, as well as looks like John Murphy.
And Osi Onwudiwe, who I was talking about earlier. Surprised to not see him in the starting lineup. It was Rubio Maya's opportunity to make an impact, but now final 25 minutes for Onwudiwe to try to get on the board. He's scored for the Reds so far this season. The young forward going to Virginia Tech next year after being named Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year.
So trying to bank off that and become a Hokie.
Entering the match, number 11, Azaria Teodros. Number 23,
Murphy.
Osinachi
working it back. 2-0 the score. Ristozzi FC leading the Reds. 56th minute, Jackson Lewis with a goal, and Joshua Petty hitting pay dirt back in the 18th minute. Murphy.
Transitional moments tough when you just made substitutions as the Reds did. Inkpen brave off his line there, taking out his teammate Van de Heij, who now has a possible cramp. As he will ask for the substitution. Looks like it's going to be Ike Obazuo coming in as the sub card is prepared.
Logan Stern with some words of encouragement. So Van de Heij out and Ike is in.
Ike gonna go at looks like he's gonna go at right back potentially.
Alexandria
and he will,
substitution
and
in the
that means
67th
Chatsopoulos
minute.
coming into
Leaving the match number 3
into the
James
middle.
Van de Heij.
So
Entering
change
the match number 27
being
Ike
asked
Obazuo.
of Chatsopoulos there with Van de Heij making way. And that's a tough thing to do as a player, but we'll see how he handles this.
I was going to say that's now in a spot that he's not as comfortable and as confident as you talked about in the earlier match.
Oh, he does play center back normally for his college team, but he typically plays as right center back. Akins is exclusively a right center back, so he's being asked now to play over on the left. And you wouldn't think right center back and left center back were that different, but you're shaping everything differently. It's to your weak side sometimes if you're not right-footed, or if you're not left-footed, I should say. And you'll see that just there, he takes that one on the outside of his right foot as he is more comfortable playing with his right.
Chatsopoulos looking forward. Reds looking to get something going. Have been shut out thus far.
Kamara sitting on that one instead of going forward, and I was a bit surprised to see the change coming where it did. Oh, that's overselling it. He was falling, but he needs to get on with that. It's a foul, but ball's moving. Ball's moving. It's got to be called there. Details matter.
That was maybe the coach in you coming out a little bit there.
Those little things are the easy things, and you've got to get the little things. You've got to do all the little things, whether you're a player or whether you're a coach or whether you're a referee. You've got to get the little details right, and that's the stuff that's a little frustrating to see.
Chatsopoulos working forward here to the Wedros. Chatsopoulos trying to thread the needle to Kamara, but there to grab it away, Nagami.
That's the double shin trap. That's again, it's the little things. As the Ristozzi staff saying it's the little things to their center mid there, calling that decision stupid as he passes it right to Osi Onwudiwe. Chong has been very active since coming in. He's keeps getting touch after touch on the ball as he's now getting yet another opportunity on the far side of the field. Just shows that with both age comes experience, and with high caliber ability.
Chong, a U19 MLS Next player for Alexandria Soccer, coming in from Burke, Virginia. Playing with the Reds for the first time this summer. Still uncommitted for next year.
Yeah, and you know, that's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. You know, he's one of those players that could play a lot of different places at a lot of different levels. Just going to be interesting to see what his level is. Lovely turn from Turner, putting the Ristozzi midfield on skates.
Entering the match, number 20.
Over on it is
Noda.
Woodings. Looked like Lewis was there for Ristozzi.
Tired legs getting the better of Woodings there as he danced and moved, just not able to get that final opportunity in.
Ryosuke Noda is checked in for Ristozzi FC, donning number 20. Lodros feeding off. Now he'll take it back. Chautopoulos getting in there. Camara. Chautopoulos is down around midfield. Alexandria Soccer would like to thank Zotega Foundation for its supports of our ASA players. Each year, the foundation offers college scholarship to an ASA player who has demonstrated resilience, determination, and the commitment necessary to succeed in college. The 2025 Zotega scholarship winner is Osman So. Ozzy plans to attend Virginia Commonwealth University this fall. His goal is to become a civil engineer. From Sierra Leone, hopes to one day become successful enough to give back. Congratulations to Ozzy, and thank you to Zotega Foundation. There's Chong.
Oh. And that's where his youthfulness shows. He puts someone on the floor with an absolutely brilliant turn. And then instead of sliding it to Woodings, who's got his body shaped towards the goal to tap and finish, he tries to wrap his hip around that one, sending it high and over the goal. You're like, oh, it's in Spanish. Like you can't read it.
2-0. Ristozzi FC has the lead on Alexandria. Playing here in the 75th minute. Gentle breeze has picked up here at Limerick Field. It's supposed to rain around 9 o'clock.
Just as we're packing up all the tents.
Should be a fun time. It rained when you were setting up, so nice bookends to the evening if it's raining when you are taking down. Lodros.
Tewodros has been a forward for the Reds most of the season. Today, playing an outside back, fill-in secondary role for him is the Reds lacking some natural outside backs with Ezahir out this weekend and also missing Conrad Brady back.
Other than Brady, is that something that that they're going to get back for these next few games to wrap up the season on hopefully a positive note, positioning themselves well for the postseason?
It is, and they'll have Ezahir back and be able to get into a little bit more rhythm.
Looks like there's a water break. Gives us a chance to remind you to join the Eisenhower Partnership for free family-friendly movie nights here at Limerick Field. Join us Saturday, July 19th for movie and treats from local vendors. Doors open 6 p.m. For more info, check out the Eisenhower Partnership website and Instagram. Is that on your calendar, July 19th? Little movie night, family style here at Limerick Field?
I think that is the night that I will be finally taking my long-deserved break after a full
well, what better place?
season.
What better place to spend it than here in a nice family atmosphere than watching a movie on the pitch?
You know, it's one of those when you spend all day, every day with kids, it's like spending your free time with other adults, like my wife at home this evening.
Perhaps I'll talk to your lovely new bride and tell her that this is a place that, that this might be a nice space, July 19th, to spend an evening.
I think for her it'll depend on what movie they're playing. She's got a few favorite movies that
yeah, I've noticed this read that they give me. They don't say what movie it is. See, I will credit Washington, D.C., whereas, when they have movies at the Library of Congress, movies on the mall, they say what movies they're going to have on. So you sit there and go like, oh, okay. Even jazz in the gardens there at the Museum of Art, the National Gallery, they sit there and they tell you who is going to be playing. So it would be nice to know what movie we're going to be having, maybe a nice doubleheader of screen action.
So July 19th will be Shrek.
Shrek, okay, that's a decent family option.
That is a good family option. June 21st, however, Air Bud, a nice depressing family option if you don't like dog movies.
And we missed, what was it, Moana?
Moana was the first one, so.
Unfortunately, I was not here. Were you here to enjoy Moana?
I think, where was I May 17th? That was in the midst of my coaching season, so I was most likely on the field somewhere within the 90-minute vicinity of the Alexandria area.
I believe our public address announcer, Ethan, may have been over in Copenhagen.
World traveler Ethan Jenkins, visiting one of his 30-plus countries he's been to. We'll check with our official statistician here shortly to get the firm count on how many countries Ethan has visited.
Spending some great tunes before the match and during the intermission.
Giving the AU games a run for their money. All AU athletics games still rocking with their 2010 playlist.
Ristozzi FC has the lead on the Reds. Goals from Joshua Petty, 18th minute, and Jackson Lewis, 56th minute. So it's Opolis.
At the 77-minute mark, if he's on the clock, if he's looking for the AU shout-out. Yeah, and this is where the Reds' tired legs are starting to show. You've got some players that.
Noda's shot was wide. And then they tried the putback. Now Noda still working with it.
What a save that is from Inkpen.
You can see the flabbergasted nature from Ristozzi FC.
Because he came back on from an offside position and sent that ball well into touch, well into water treatment. What a performance Turner's had since coming on, as well as Chong. The two of them have just been fantastic, and they link up together really well.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ask if some of that's credit to playing with UPSL together. They've played together before.
Hear the fire truck behind us, an emergency in the area.
Cruising down 495. You know, the Reds are going to be frustrated if they can't get a goal out of this game. It's a situation where they've moved the ball so well and had so many opportunities, and it's just always been kind of that final moment that hasn't worked out for them.
Noda able to stay with it and feed off to Ono. That was Murphy getting aggressive there.
And the center mid, Nagomi, has been on the floor all match. He just keeps flying around, and it's stay on your feet. He's got so much talent, but yet he keeps ending up on the floor. And it's not because he's getting to the right spot. It's because he's just diving into everything.
Want to say hello to Mike Berger and his son Derek, who are watching at the Toledo Mud Hens game, taking in AAA baseball and tuning in to this Reds broadcast.
You know, depending on the AAA game, this could be more exciting. Could be
exactly.
It could be much less exciting.
I have not pulled up to see what the Mud Hens are doing and what the score is, but Mike and his son Derek tuning in. The Bergers from Toledo, nice of them to let us know.
So who are the Mud Hens an affiliate for?
Tigers.
Okay.
Tigers having a great season as that shot goes wide. Tarek Skubal, another fantastic year on the mound for the Tigers.
Assistant referee's flag was up either way. Would not have counted.
Chatsopoulos.
Two Reds players, miscommunication there as Murphy and Chong just not quite able to get on the same page. But cheeky banter from our fourth official here, commenting on the fact that the Ristozzi staff has been wanting to do the referee cruise job this afternoon.
A lot of coaching staffs do that, though.
Yeah, and you know
there's a balance, but a lot of coaching staffs are quite vocal.
There is. As you get more experience, you realize what you are and aren't going to get, and being in their ear about in and out, where the ball is, those things don't win the officials over.
Also, it can be exhausting.
Also, when you've got the fourth official here, it's his job. He's got a headset on. Let him talk to the man in the center instead of screaming out and projecting it to an official in the center. I feel it puts them on the spot versus just letting the refs do their job and allowing the fourth to do his of communicating.
I just saw some lightning off to the right, but it must be just outside our window of where it can be as this game winds down and the wind picks up.
No, where are we for mileage?
Another nice save from Inkpen much to the dismay of Ristozzi FC's coaching staff. Not real pleased with the players' thought process on that trip down.
Oh, lovely cut there.
Wodros trying to push forward. Now here's Woodings. Chung going to work.
Oh, does take a deflection. It will be out for a Reds corner as they'll look to get something in the last 5 or so minutes of regular time. Reds sending all but one forward, leaving Torin Akins to stay at home. Interesting decision. Chatsopoulos, not the tallest, but the one left here.
Playing in the 86th minute, 2-0. Ristozzi has the lead over the Alexandria Reds. Comes in. And another whistle.
Not quite sure what that one's for. I don't know if it was for offside or not, unless it was on a flick on. It's the ref in the center will have a quick word saying, keep it moving to the goalkeeper. No wasting time here in the dying embers.
You like that phrase?
Yeah, it's the phrase of the evening.
Woodings.
Looked like me in Sunday League on that one. Just a bit outside. Another baseball reference for you.
Nice Bob Uecker option. R.I.P. A couple other Eucharisms are quite glorious that can't be used on a family-style broadcast.
This is the first time that Ristozzi has gone long on a goal kick and more than capable of doing so. Surprised not to see a foul called there as Joni Andreka, former ASA Red, goes over the back of Jack Murphy.
Jack Murphy, no relation to longtime San Diego Union Tribune writer Jack Murphy, who the stadium was named after in San Diego for many years. When the Chargers and Padres shared it, they're in Mission Valley. Back when stadiums were named after people and not corporations.
There's still a handful of those.
But usually it's an owner and a billionaire. Here's Chung.
Played a bit wide for Kamara. Left him a lot of work to do. Chung pressed well. Jumped the ball in midfield. He's got to go a little more direct there and have a little bit better pass.
Fans coming out to a home game, and, well, even if you're not, you can stop by Lost Boys Cider for locally crafted experience before and after the games, and even if you're not coming out to a game, to check out Lost Boys Cider here in Alexandria, mere steps from us here at Limerick Field on the campus of Alex Renew, atop tens of millions of gallons of partially treated sewage. Beating ahead, now here's Angelini, as Angelini is off to the races. And he tries the cross. Can't link up. See some more lightning off to our right beyond the goal as that one ends up.
And I would think and hope.
Another flash of lightning.
I would think and hope that if we get called, which we do, that for lightning that would just be the logic of we've got a minute left. Let's not do a 30-minute delay for 1 minute of play with a couple goals in it.
You can see the wind. Well, you can't see, but maybe you can hear the wind picking up. Our classy tent is starting to perhaps elevate a little bit. Some of the coaches saying it's lightning, and yes, we've noticed the lightning off to our right.
Ristozzi FC substitution.
Ristozzi FC making a change here with About a minute left to play, seeing some more lightning.
Stoppage time, sir.
Katsuma.
Stoppage time, sir.
Nogami working it across the field.
Canencio.
About 3 minutes of extra time.
Fourth official on the
Some more
sideline
lightning.
has indicated there will be a minimum of 3.
That
minutes
lightning
of
looking
stoppage
pretty close to the
time
field,
at
but
the end of the second
we
half.
continue playing. Another little flash. Quite a busy lightning storm here in the last few moments. Even the Ristozzi coaching staff noticing it. Another flash. Tsatsopoulos. It'll be Inkpen looking for a friendly as this one looks to wind down. We'll remind you that Alexandria Reds also have the women's side. We'll get you their contact info. For news and stories, follow the WPSL Reds on Instagram and online. Find them on Instagram at Alexandria_ProWomen or online at AlexandriaReds.org. That's AlexandriaReds.org. Inkpen focused. Now
Staring the coach from the bench as he's getting into his younger teammate. And you love to see that. It just shows that he cares. Is that an aggressive bolt to our right?
so much lightning. There's even a nice electrical wires there.
That's the end.
And it looks like that's going to wrap it up. 2-0 the score. Ristozzi FC beats the Alexandria Reds. The goals coming from Joshua Petty in the 18th minute and Jackson Lewis in the 56th minute. Reds would like to again thank our ISA community partners, the City of Alexandria, Alex Renew, Eisenhower Partnership, PI Training, Lost Boys Cider, Kenya Knight State Farm, and Ortho, Virginia for their generous support of Alexandria Soccer Association. And we'd like to thank Capelli Sports, the official outfitter of ASA Reds. For Nick Papadis, I'm Dan Lang. Have a good night, everybody.